No, I'm there. I need. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yeah. So this is Greg. Let me introduce you to our speaker.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. Everybody gets so excited. I'm gonna get. I think we'll get started here. And I wanted to welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Vancouver Yaletown meeting. First of all, welcome to our visitors and guests. And we'll take just a minute just to introduce everybody. But our club meets every. Hey, John, how you doing? We meet both online and in person, and this is one of our in-person meetings. Every 6 weeks, we get together in person to meet and connect as real human beings in our virtual world. We're also very honored to have some students from Ascenda School of Management from the Hospitality and International Business Program and the program director, Pomponia Martinez. Pomponia is not a stranger to Rotary, and is in fact she has presented at our club before. Welcome. Please come in. And I'm just going to take a minute if we can just go around the room and introduce ourselves, our members, and the students. Hilda, can I start with you?
Sure, thank you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm sorry for being late a little bit. I was working. I'm from Mexico, and I started my enrollment with the Rotarians last year, and it's really an amazing experience. I really enjoyed to be here and to participate in all the activities that the Rotarians are organizing. It's really, really nice to be part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll maybe ask the rest of our club members to first introduce themselves. Can we start with Karen? You've got a mouthful of food. Why don't we start with you?
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Karen. I'm a member of the Rotary Club, and I'm the immediate past president, and I'm really happy that Neil organized this. Thanks. Hi, I'm Ida. I'm the project coordinator, and yeah, nice to meet all of you. Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name's Heather. I'm just a new member of Rotary. I haven't officially signed the paper, but I hope. But yeah, and of course, the topic is fascinating, so that's an immediate thought. Don't wait. Hey, my name's Nancy Tang. I'm the treasurer of the club, the one who collects money all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad here, and welcome to our speakers. Thank you.
My name is Carlos Tan. I'm also a member of the Rotary Yaletown Club, and I'm the current secretary of the club. So, and I have also been past president. So glad to be here, and nice meeting you all. And welcome our guests speaking today.
Great, thanks.
Hi, everyone. Hello. My name is Sheena, and I'm one of the newest members. Well, not anymore if we have new people joining us. So I used to be a Rotarian. Now I used to be a Rotary actor, and now I'm a Rotarian. So I'm the bridge between both the clubs. I'm so happy to be a part of the club. I'm also managing the Instagram of the club under John's guidance. And yeah, it's an absolute honor to be a part of such an amazing club. Thank you.
And just a plug for Sheena as well, if any of the students here that are interested in getting more involved in Rotaract, we're kind of re-energizing the Rotaract Club. So please talk to her and we can begin to develop that further. John.
Hi, good evening. I'm John Chen. I've been a Rotarian for I think 8 years now. For this club, I am the PR chair. So I'm the hidden voice behind the emails. If you've ever emailed the club, yeah, that's me usually answering back. Good to see you all in person and really looking forward to the topic today.
Great, thanks. And so maybe Pomponi, I'll start with you, yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm the director of HR programs here at Ascenda. And I've been involved with Rotary through my son, who was Rotarian, and my sister is the upcoming Rotarian governor in Surrey. So I'm often going to Rotary events. So nice to be here.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fernanda Parra. I currently study international business, and I'm really interested to have been here, like learning new things.
Great, thank you.
So hi, I'm Laura. I'm studying also a business administration course with my main concentration in human resources. I'm officially, this is my second year, so yeah, I'm also here just to learning things and also of course pursuing career in HR as well.
Yeah, and Laura has been out and helped us out at our shredathon event, yeah.
Like 2-3 times.
Yeah, it's great, yeah.
I'm Ricardo Lopez. I'm currently in the marketing concentration. I would like to learn new things about this topic at the club.
Great, thank you.
I am Danielle, and I'm Danny. I just had my second term here, turning third term. My concentration is management information system. I am so excited with this topic because I was a previous flight attendant in Saudi Airlines. So that's long time ago, 7 years. So yeah, I am so excited to hear about this topic. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Sylvia, and I'm currently in the marketing concentration. I'm really looking forward to learn about these new topics because it's like so important nowadays. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Sylvia. And
Hi, I'm Don. I'm taking up HR, and I'm a part of HR club as well. I'm glad to be here because I'm former from the field of aviation as well.
oh, really? Wow, fantastic. Of course, we are very, very honored to have our special guests tonight. Johann or Hans Lex and his wife Marion. Thank you so much for, first of all, for reaching out to us and just, we were talking, and one of the incredible things about Rotary is this global perspective. And the neat thing is that when you travel and you go to a different city and you can say, hey, I'm coming to visit you. I'd like to come and join your club, and you can come and join, and all of a sudden you're not a stranger in the city, you're with friends, and there's a great chance to connect. And this wonderful opportunity to share information. So we thank you very much for joining us, for reaching out to us, for coming here, and we're really, really looking forward to the presentation. I'll introduce you more formally in just a second for the topic, but I understand you wanted to make a presentation. And I'll just explain to the students, and one of the things about Rotary is that we exchange banners between clubs. And unfortunately, I left my banner. It's sitting on my desk at home. I had it with my pin. So I will arrange to get the banner to you. But did you want to make the presentation here? And we can take a picture.
Okay, so thank you very much. So I'm Hans to share a secret about the difference between Hans and Johann. So the common nickname in Bavaria for Johann is Hans. It's like your Robert and Bob.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Okay, Neil,
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me.
Mhm.
I was just planning the trip here to West Canada.
Yeah.
And I thought, why not sending an email?
Mhm.
So I've looked for Rotary clubs and I found you, and you immediately agreed that I can join you.
Yes.
I'm very thankful for that. And as a small gift, the official banner from the Rotary Club Munich Flughafen, Munich
Fantastic.
Airport.
Great. Well, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much. Great, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And as I say, I will exchange and share it in reciprocate. Great. So maybe without further ado, I'll turn it over to Hans. Just a bit about Hans. I'm just going to read my notes here because my memory is not that good. But as mentioned, he's a member of the Munich Airport Rotary Club, and he works with Lilium. It's a company that has developed electric planes, and he'll be discussing the future about the electric aircraft, and also talking about an interesting impact on technology and human resources. Hans is a specialist in the field of human resources and international human resources. So I think it's very relevant that we're looking at both the impact of technology, a technology that's for the better of the environment, but also considering people in the process and from an international perspective. So boy, we've checked a lot of boxes tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Hans, and we welcome your presentation. Look forward to that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Neil. So, dear Rotarians, dear students, happy to be here. So far, I was always thinking that Munich is the most beautiful city in the world. After one day in Vancouver, I have to confess, we talked it. I mean, we have everything: blue skies, mountain, but the sea is missing.
Yeah, and it never rains in Vancouver.
Yeah. Of course not. Last year we stayed in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
And we spent one day in Bergen, and they told us it always rains in Bergen. Yeah, we have been there. It was 3 days late. So all good. Yeah, where to start with? Maybe some background from myself. I was not always working at Lilium or even the human resources. If you can move forward, the slide. What can I do? One more. Next slide. Okay. So usually I'm an engineer in agricultural sciences. So and maybe the story I would like to tell you is always go on, always move on. You're never restricted what you're doing. So I was always curious and keen to learn new things. I was running my private farm until 10 years ago. But I was always working in engineering companies, international companies. So I've started in the data center internet systems. I teach students internet, how to use the internet in the 90s. So I was a teacher and a trainer at BMW. So where I teach managers and their team assistants how to use email in the 90s. Today, every school kid knows this, but that time, 25, 30 years ago, was good business for me. Then I joined a startup company in Munich. It was about mobile phone, mobile telecommunication, quite brand new topic. Startup mentality, all the gurus from all over the world were there, international company, so I liked it. Then I moved over into a pharmaceutical companies. I was working for a Japanese company in Munich, and then for a service company. And for about 3 years, I joined Lilium. And why Lilium is, Lilium was founded 8 years ago by 4 students from the Munich Technical University. All of them could be my sons, yeah, 35 years old. I turned now 63. But this fascinated me. And that when I entered the building, you feel the passion. You go into the canteen. We have 58 different nations. Lots of young people, but also graybeards like me. So this was fascinating. If you go back 2 slides, sorry. So that's the topic. We are all facing global warming. We all know that we burn much too much fossil energy. And the challenge is, we know that nearly 30% of the carbon dioxide comes from transportation. It's car, it's airplane, it's everything. So that's the challenge. And this was the idea of our founders. Can we also apply carbon dioxide savings with in aerospace? And many of their critics said, oh, this is impossible. You can't fly. You can't fly a Tesla. But I think we've proven we can do it. With the next slide. So what's the potential? So we will build one of our first networks in Florida. That's where partnerships there. If you go today from Fort Myers to Palm Beach, it takes you 3 hours. With an electric aircraft, it takes you 45 minutes. And you save 25 kilogram carbon dioxide per passage. The same if you go from Palm Beach to Miami. By car, 1.5 hours. By aircraft, 20 minutes, you save 15. That's the challenge. It's our contribution. So Lilium, eVTOL. So eVTOL, has somebody heard about this? eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. You don't need a runway. The potential is you can do regional flights. So our goal is our maximum distance is around by 250 kilometers. And this is the contribution of Lilium to the environment. Next slide, the next slide. So this is how the plane will look like. It is high speed, 250 kilometers per hour. Maximum range of 250 kilometers. It's low noise, 66 decibel. It's half of the noise of an helicopter. And this makes an impact, especially in big cities. You are not allowed to because it's too noisy. It's fully electric, zero emissions, and it has the highest safety because all aerospaces need to be certified by either the FAA, US authority, or the EASA, the European Space Authority. And you need to have, reduce the risk to 10.9 capital failures. Yeah, so 1 to 1 billion. Yeah, so everything has to be tested at the highest standard. If you click now on the link, I show you because we already have a smaller version available, a technology demonstrator, but this is exactly shows you the principle how we work. Let's start.
It's kind of inspiration to achieve the flights. So our flight test in Spain is Spain. The next flight test is to achieve a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour, which is faster than the number of nature of the house of. So everybody's ready?
Electric engines are built into the flaps of the wing.
Yeah, probably not. How use the transition from vertical to horizontal flow. Right. Share 18. Also the most majestic animal in the sky, the most reaching this milestone about step closer to join them.
With a budget on smart collection, you can program your smart inventory.
Now you can imagine how the technology works. So this technology demonstrator, as we call it, has around about half the size of the plane we are currently constructing, and we will have the first flight in around about 1 year. And we will spend another 1 year to get the type certification. So we want to go commercial by 2023. So next slide. I need to share some technology slides with you, but feel free if you have any question in between, just ask, yeah. So the question is, it's tremendous expensive to launch such an aircraft. Can you imagine how much money the company already has spent? It's the single thought.
Billions, maybe.
We are over 1 billion.
Yeah.
1 billion. So our founders started 8 years ago in their living room. So they were building the first prototype. Then they showed it to investors. They got investment. They built the second prototype and bigger and bigger. So this is the fifth. What you've seen is the fifth prototype. And yeah, that's tremendously expensive. So I think the advantages are clear. So we plan to launch in 2025. So we hope to have sold 350 airplanes in the first 3 years. And you see, if 300 Lilium jets are expected to avoid 100,000 kilotons of carbon dioxide. We hope to be at 2030 to be able to have 3,500 sold. This would save 1 megaton of carbon dioxide. And we are already planning, this is for future state, a 50-passenger aircraft, which would, of course, save much more 10 megatons of carbon dioxide with the regional flights. Don't get me wrong, you will never be able to fly from Canada to Europe with such an airplane. That's not our intention. It's regional flights. Next, please.
What sort of altitude can you get in the planes?
So they expected, so we fly around 2,000 to 3,000 meters. We don't need more.
Okay.
We don't need more for regional flights.
Right. Okay.
So the challenge is you need to build a company and you need to build an aircraft. And you need to find engineers, specialists who can do this, which was never being done. There's nothing in the world, nobody has done this. So what we did is that because the original intention was, well, we build an aircraft, we build our own airline, yeah. We are Lufthansa and Airbus at the same time. So we soon found out, okay, this is too expensive. We won't get this money. So we decided, okay, we shifted from an airline to a pure Airbus or Boeing manufacturer. We need to mature quite a lot. You can think about our co-founders started in their living room, and the first employee was one of my business partners, and then they grew a lot. And the co-founders had to learn, okay, you have to change your mind. You're no longer a group of friends. We are now a company of 800 people with millions of investment. So shareholders are expecting some professional management. And as a result, one of our co-founders, Daniel Wiegand, stepped back and we brought in a new CEO from Airbus. Yeah? So time changes, it's a new phase in the company. We have a strengthened leadership team. In the meantime, we have an order pipeline of nearly 700 aircrafts. And we already passed 3 or 4 out of 4 EASA audits. You need EASA is the European Aerospace Agency. And before you can fly any passenger, you have to have certified your design organization, you need to certify your production organization, and you need to certify your plane. So far, nobody has done it so far. EASA partnered with us because they also never have done this. This type of aircraft doesn't exist. So we are in a partnership, and this week we have our final already. So fingers crossed. The aircraft, yeah, it's 100% certification plan submitted. It's certification against the EASA. Our competitors, for instance, Joby is quite famous in US. They are using the interesting term, they have a company certified aircraft. I mean, it's nice. It's like building your car and you certify the car. The architecture needs to be frozen. The most important thing in an aircraft is the battery. Why? Because you need so much energy to lift up an aircraft and to land it. And the battery is heavy. And the disadvantage of an electric plane compared to a kerosene plane is, the kerosene plane gets lighter the longer it goes because it consumes kerosene and produces carbon dioxide. The battery always has the same weight, so this limits then the distance you can fly. So you have seen the demonstrator, and we are currently building up the production organization because we have 700 orders, so we have to be capable to produce this. Next one. So this is the big one, the Pegasus. That's our commercial plane, and we are convinced that the design will win. Who knows? Have you seen the, for instance, Joby or Volocopter electrical aircrafts? They all use the rotor principle. It's like a helicopter. So they have 4 rotors, 10 rotors. They don't have wings. We think we have the winning architecture because the wing has the big advantage. We need a lot of energy between starting and landing, but during the flight, you use your wing, and the plane is carried by the, how you call it, by the airlift. So you need less energy during the flight, but the rotor type aircraft always need the same amount of energy. Yeah. So if the battery is empty, the rotors they will fall down. Yeah. So it's a scalable and versatile platform. We can bigger ones, highest safety, and it's a low physical complexity. There is only, you see here, 30 little electric motors, and the steering is just changing the flaps of these big wings and of the smaller canal wings in the front. That's all you need in steering. There's no hydraulics, nothing else. Next one, please. So this is the inside. So the start is also our management decided, I think it was a good decision. First, they wanted to start with a 6-seater plus 1 pilot. You can't fly unmanned in Europe. Don't know whether you can fly unmanned in Canada. I have not checked it, but in Europe you need to have a pilot. Yeah, good for pilots.
Wow.
And they wanted to start with a 6-seater, and then I found out, oh, let's do it like the car manufacturers. So when BMW brings out a new car, take the example of BMW as they produce also in Munich. So when they bring out a new Model 5, they never start with a small engine. They always start with a bigger engine, which is more costly because they want to attract first the ones who have more money. So therefore we use the business edition with only 4 seats. So we want to also attract the customers with more money. Go ahead. So we will start with a 4-passenger 4-flap cabin, then we go to a 6-passenger machine, and we also will design a cargo. Next one, please. So from a customer side, for us, it's most attractive to have this private customer. There are so many companies, rich people who have personal aircrafts. And what they don't like is being accused of wasting too much energy in the field. So we think this is a good market to start with. The second thing is we have already a lot of contracts signed from charter services. NetJets, for instance. NetJet is a huge provider of small aircrafts rented out to businesses. And finally, we will do the OEM sales. So one of our big customers is, for instance, the Brazilian airline Azul. They have ordered 200 aircrafts. Also, Saudi Air is one of our customers interested. So this is how we want to earn money, because so far, and also the next 2 years, we need to spend money. We are listed at NASDAQ. So we just in May we got another 100 million investment from one of our Chinese investors, and we are expecting another 150 million in the next weeks. So this will help us to produce the first aircraft and sell it. Okay, so yeah, this is our customers. I've mentioned NetJets, Bristol, Saudi Azul is quite interesting, Brazilian airline. The CEO is sitting also in our advisory board. They have ordered 200 aircrafts. Why? Brazilian is the biggest market for helicopter transportation. And therefore they're very interested in an electric jet, which can replace traditional helicopters. Next one, please. Yeah, now it goes a little bit into the technology. What are the main components? As I said, electric ducted jet engines. We have 30 of these engines. Then we have proprietary battery systems. Why proprietary? Because nobody can build this kind of high energy cells. So every battery consists of hundreds of single cells. The cells are produced in Germany by a company called Custom Cells. They are producing this for us exclusively. And of course, architecture and flight controls at the end. In our Lilium jet, I always say we need more electricians than mechanics. So you see here the Lilium jet, so 4 to 6 passengers, and the future growth, I've mentioned larger aircrafts. So our founder and CEO Daniel Wiegand always says, okay, he wants to revolutionize the worldwide regional air traffic by this kind of jet. So you can see here, this is a part of the wing. This is usually the flap. You can go up and down. Inbuilt in this flap are these electric engines. So the jet engine, this engine principle is quite common. All aircrafts use this, or bigger aircrafts. So we have an only electric version. So for instance, Honeywell, Denso, big first fire manufacturing are supporting us in this. This is much simpler, smaller, because there's not so much many movable parts in it. Yeah? And the small engines provide redundancy. So even if 1, 2, 5 engines fail, we can still fly. Okay, next one. It gets more difficult. Batteries. What you need in battery is you have to have a high energy density. So we are currently here at this level. Today's battery technology can provide you with 500 watt-hours per kilogram. This is, 1 kilo of this batteries. This is more or less similar to a car battery in a car, but it's not that heavy. So here we also count on the development progress we will have in future, because we foresee, okay, this will the energy density will increase. By the time we start our commercial aircraft 2025, we will be easily at 400 watt-hours per kilogram. If the battery technology improves, then also we can fly wider distances. The second thing, what you need in batteries, what you need to know is, the one is the energy density, and the other thing is the electrical power you get out of it. Now figure out who is an electric car of you, or has somebody already driven with an electric car? No. So I have one my own. My 2 sons have at least an own electric car. What's really impressive is the power. And this power you need, because you have to lift a 2.5-ton aircraft from the ground to the air, change to a horizontal flight, and then you have to land it then. And the most important thing, you have to keep a reserve in your battery. Never spend all your battery power. Yeah? So you have to keep a 25% reserve. So the higher the density of the battery is, the more power it can deliver in start and landing the battery. Okay. Yeah, so this is circular battery, also economy. The batteries are what we produce, are specially designed for us. We found out in tremendous battery testing, we found out that even used batteries still have 80% of the storage capacity. Even you can't use it for flying, you can use it for microgrid application. So in Europe, I don't know how it is here. In Europe, solar energy is increasing tremendously, and you need to have storage capacities at your home. You need to have storage capacity in your neighborhood, so you could use batteries. And if you can't no longer use it, you need to renew it. So 95% of our batteries you can recycle. So that's very important because also environmental protection is a strong thing here as it is in Europe. Yeah, I think I showed you, we have seen the video since 2 years. We have rented a small airfield in Spain. It's always motivating for me when I'm there and meeting the engineers there and talking to them. So they are flying our demonstrator aircraft. Now we have 2 of them. And of course, these aircrafts are on the one hand side important for us to test the technology, to prove it. On the other hand, they are very important to attract investors. So many investors, before they invest 50 or 100 million, they want to see how it works and whether we can prove it. Okay.
When
Yeah.
you were testing them, do you test them with a pilot or no?
No,
pilot?
these are unmanned.
Unmanned.
Unmanned. There's no pilot in this because the technology demonstrated is a smaller version. It's only around about half of the size. And when you look into the cabin, it's full of instruments and batteries. There will be no place for a pilot. Okay, this is the route to certification. I don't want to bother you with this. So we start here. So we have now reached this time. So as I said, we need another audit from the EASA, and then we are done with the auditing of the organization. And then the final step, which follows, is then once we have built a new aircraft, we will need to certify this from the EASA. And if the EASA approves, this is automatically linked that it's also the FAA in USA approves the vice versa. Yeah, I think we can skip this. That's what I already shared. Yeah, I think to summarize the company highlights, so it's a highly desirable product. We have a good commercial strategy proven because with the recent investments and ongoing investments. So I like to work with Klaus, our new CEO, former Airbus guy who was building the A320 aircraft at the Airbus. And I think we are making good progress with our investor agreements. Also now we are looking how to finally also with governmental loans. So I would say the German government is not very progressive with subsidies. So so far they didn't believe in the concept. Now we could prove them, but it takes quite a long time to get government subsidies. So it's good to have a combination of both. Yeah, and the assembled type conforming aircraft. So we get this first flight battery packs ready. As I said, we start production later this year, and looking forward to the next one. So this is my last slide, and I would like to hand over into more HR specific stuff, if you don't mind. Any questions so far on the technical presentation of the company?
I would say more than question. I would like to say congratulations for this project. It's very interesting and really amazing to learn all these new things because I never heard about it. And it demonstrates that the future is now in front of our faces. And we I'm amazed with this. And congratulations for this.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a dream working in this kind of company with these wonderful colleagues. But before I start, I can go one further. I think sorry that the slides go one further. So I want to show you our management team before I go back one step. So this is Klaus Wilby, our new CEO. This is one of the founders. This is Daniel Wiegand. He was CEO until last year, and then he stepped back and brought in Klaus. So I work a lot with Alistair, Scottish guy coming from Rolls-Royce. They've developed the engines for Airbus, for instance, also quite a lot with Yves, French guy, also from Airbus. He's the chief operating officer. Oliver Vogelgesang is quite new as a CFO, and Sebastian Borrell is our sales guy, attracting new customers and investors. So that's, and the biggest thing is Tom Enders, called Major Tom, the former CEO of Airbus, is head of our advisory board. And this, of course, helps us because we are not no longer just a tiny small company. We're indeed tiny, but we can prove we have an excellent management team. So if you go back one slide again, then
Is your plan to do any kind of vertical integration, or are you going to just be sort of assembling the plane and then selling the plane? Like, what is your?
that we are planning a vertical integration. So the plan is still that we also run our own airline selling tickets. At the moment, we need to focus in bringing this bird to life. And once we have done this, we will also focus on tickets.
I may have missed this, because I came in a few minutes late, but what is the cost of one of these lovely aircrafts? That's my first question, and then my second question, I know you said the unmanned one, it's just the testing and it's smaller. For the one that's 4 to 6 passengers, it still looks very small, so is it able to hold luggage? As you know, we women take a lot of luggage, even if we go in, right, you know, flying regional, we still need to be able to fit our luggage.
Two excellent questions, thank you. On the costs, it's I give you two aspects of cost.
Okay.
The vision of our co-founders was flying should be not more expensive than driving a taxi. So this is a tremendous challenge. So the plan is that per passenger kilometer will cost around €2, $3 CAD. So it's affordable flight. One aircraft depends. The plan is that we sell it around, I think, €2 to €3 million. On the luggage, the most important thing is, and the CEO drives us nuts, about payload. Of course, we need to have payload. The plan is that we have 490 kilos, 500 kilo payload. And this is a tremendous challenge because still today the batteries are heavy, passengers. But if you offer an electrical eVTOL, you have to allow luggage because our plan is to bring passengers to the big airports. Of course. Other questions?
I wanted to ask a little bit about eVTOL. I play a lot of video games and I play with the VTOL. So I want to know what eVTOL is.
eVTOL is?
Yes.
eVTOL is this.
Like the full form. The full form. Is there like a full form?
What do you mean by?
You said like vertical something something.
Yeah, what does the abbreviation mean?
Yeah.
So E is for electrical, V is for vertical, T is for take off and landing.
Okay.
So you can start and land vertically. You don't need a runway. You can operate this like a helicopter.
I have a question regarding the materials that I made this aircraft. So what kind of materials are you going to use? Because you need to cover safety measures and another kind of issue. You are planning to do, or of course, you are trying to help the environment.
Yeah.
With this, but with the materials of the object.
So our main material is carbon fiber, or a lot of lightweight material. Also titan, for instance, for the rotor blades, this kind of thing. Everything would be lightweighted, but also guarantees stability. So that's the challenge. If you want payload, you have to build the aircraft as light as possible, but at the same time, safety first. Does this answer your question?
Well, yeah, and regarding the safety thing, but not the environmental.
Yeah.
Because many of these materials that we used before probably are not very ecological.
Yeah, I can't, but I think carbon fiber, this is, I think quite used a lot. I mean, we were flying to Canada with the A350, it's pure, more or less pure carbon fiber. The other side, at least. I mean, that's, I don't know about the environmental damage carbon fiber discussed with the environment, so I'm not the experts for this.
And so in terms of the economics of this solution, would it be competitive with, say, helicopters?
Yes, of course.
So-
It needs to be safe, because the problem with helicopters is a helicopter has the tendency to destroy himself because so many rotor moving parts, and so this is much more stable.
Because we have helicopters, that go from Vancouver to the capital of our province, Victoria.
Yeah.
You know, they just leave here from downtown, so in the future, we might see this kind of.
Everything which is within this 250
Yes,
kilometers distance, this is the focus of this aircraft.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You could even put it out on a barge or something.
Yeah, you can start and land from every building. Yeah, it's like you don't need more space as a helicopter. We have already contracted infrastructure provider who will build, we call it vertiports. Yeah. So we need to have a small check-in building and a platform where the VTOL can start and land. It don't need much.
Another question, so since these are electric, how would you charge them? If I were to buy one, do I need to build a charging station or does it come with?
Yeah. So you need a lot of energy to charge it, because the plan is that you can reload this aircraft within 15 to 20 minutes. We want this burning air and not from the ground. And we already have frame contracts with big electrical infrastructure provider. Yeah.
If you launch your own airline with this kind of things, how the prices would differ for the people? Will it be cheaper or more expensive?
I mean, it all, as I said, that the calculation basis, the plan is to have it around, if you fly 100 kilometers, it's 200 euros or $300 million. That's the price. I mean, the more passengers you have, the more business you do, the more customers, you can go cheaper. It always also depends on the price for electricity. But in Germany, the price is quite high. I don't know how much the kilowatt hour in Canada costs of electricity.
I have to look at my bill.
But we do have the cheapest, we have hydroelectric power, so it's very
That's
cheap.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
So for instance, we have been in Norway last week, they have 100% hydropower, but in Germany, meantime, for a private household, 1 kilowatt hour costs 40 cents. 6. Okay. And of course, by industry, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's subsidized, but it's quite a high price.
One more question, my last.
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
I know you said the altitude, you don't get up
Yeah.
too high. So I guess you don't have to worry about like things like turbulence, and I know you said it goes with the wind.
Yeah.
So turbulence wouldn't be.
No,
a
so
factor.
this is one of the reasons
Or bad weather.
what we are testing currently in Spain.
Okay.
Also, how this aircraft works with turbulences. That's what we are testing. So far, there is no negative impact. The only thing what we are testing still is icing, because also it's not that critical, because the icing problem is usually more critical at a higher altitude. It can always be that you come into thunderstorms and you have to have safety, that the plane can land safely, even if there is an ice storm.
Yeah, I actually drive an electric car, and I notice that when the weather is even a little bit cold, like a few degrees cold, it will have a big impact on the battery.
Yeah.
You know, like by 10, 15, 20%.
Yeah.
is that going to affect, this?
This
battery
will
tech
has
as well?
also, of course, also have an effect, but that's what we are testing now. And the batteries will be heated. We have to provide them at a certain temperature. So, and that's what we are, so all the batteries are packed into a water cooling system because if it's too hot, it's bad, if it's too cold, it's also detrimental. We have battery technology is the same, whether it's in the car or in the aircraft.
Cost of electricity in BC is 11.43 per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
It's just about a quarter of what it is in Germany.
No, like the US, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in Germany, we are very courageous, yeah.
Yeah.
In April, we switched off the last nuclear plants. We don't want to use coal. We don't want to use Russian gas.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we have 48% renewable energy. So it's wind, solar, water power, 48%. We still have to replace the other 50%.
Well, at our port here in Vancouver, ships used to come in, they used to use, bunker fuel.
Yeah.
But now they all have, for many years now, electrical connections, so they have massive electrical supply. So that's, you could like build something right adjacent to the port and you'd have tons of.
That's it there. You need to have this power supply. That's an
Yeah.
important thing. Okay, finally on some of the topics around in the time. Oops.
Yeah, we've got about five more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we work in a global market. So if you go back, go back. Okay. So you can look afterwards. I shared a presentation on the career page, and this is a big competition in the market. For instance, battery engineer. We need battery engineer. The car manufacturers, we need them, so we compete for that. All the engineers, aircraft engineers, we compete with the Boeings and the Airbus. So this is a big challenge. I think that the big benefit of us is we have a really attractive product. So many of our employees are coming to us and say, I don't care about the money. I even work with less money than I had before because I'm so interested. What we are doing, every employee is a co-owner of the company. So we give shares to the employees. Ways of working and culture, we are 58 nations, 800 employees. So company language is English, but you hear dozens of different languages in the canteen on the floor. That's what's really thriving here. It is something extraordinary. That's why people come to us. Nobody has built this kind of aircraft. All want to be part of the story. Working at Lilium in Munich, Germany, as I said, Munich, the second most beautiful town in the world. So the good thing in Munich, somebody has been already in Munich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oktoberfest.
You know the Oktoberfest. So 6 million tourists during these 2 weeks in Munich. I think all over Bavaria. Munich has 1.5 million inhabitants. It's a really quite expensive city because I don't know, all the people want to live in Munich. The big benefit is, I mean, you have a lot of different cultures here in Vancouver. We have a lot of different cultures in the company and we are close to other countries. So if you go in a car, you're in 4 hours in Prague, you're in 2 hours in Italy, in Austria, in Switzerland. That's the environment you have in Munich, in Europe. A strong surrounding region. I think it's a beautiful landscape there. And working time is a topic. So it's quite interesting in Germany. I think maybe it's the same also here. People want to work less and less and less, especially the younger generation. I think I will retire soon. We have learned to work long hours. Many people, for instance, our metallic union offers a tariff 35 hours a week. At Lilium, we can't afford this. Our working time is 40 hours plus. And that's the standard. Without that, you can't build such an engineering thing. And I think Germany is quite attractive. We were talking before is I think you guys have 2 weeks of holidays per year.
That's the minimum, yeah.
Yeah, and the minimum in Germany is 20 days, so 5 weekdays, so it's 4 weeks. Most companies, especially companies who want to attract people, have 30 days, so 6 weeks. Plus, in Bavaria, we have a couple of public holidays, so depending on the year, so 10, 12 public holidays. So I think it's a nice environment to work. Yeah. You have to work even harder in between, as simple as that. I think salary-wise, I think we pay decent salaries. Maybe we can't compete always with the US salaries. But I think as an engineer in Germany, if you start with a master degree in our company, you earn around about 70,000 euro, 80,000 euro. Yeah. This is at the moment we hire mainly experienced engineers with several years of company experience, but I think you can afford living in Munich if you spend in the city.
Hans, can you comment on one of the things that we talked about at Ascenda is it's important to have hard skills, so basic science skills, etc. But it's also really important to have those soft skills, team skills, communication skills, the ability to solve problems with others. Can you just comment on your hiring practices and how do you find those innovators and those people that can operate not just well independently, but well within the company?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Really excellent question. So, as a head of HR business partnering, I also have to deal with terminations. And we usually never terminate an employee because of lacking hard skills. Most of the time, we have lacking soft skills. And so what we focus on, orientation on results, collaboration, problem solving, innovation. That's the kind of people we need and we want to attract. And if somebody is not willing to do this or going the extra hour, I have always very open interviews. And it's not the first time that I tell somebody maybe better go to another company because you won't be happy with us. If you're expecting 4 days a week and 35 hours a week, then don't come to us. So that's soft skill is really this is making the difference. In a high pressure organization with lots of international cultures, you have to have good soft skills. Does this answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mobility. So our employees mostly work in Germany. I would say 90%. Some of them are commuting from different countries. I even have one working from Canada sometimes. So this is, but the majority is working in Germany. What we offer is home office. So depending, we have no strict rule, but depending on the business area you're in, we offer at least 1 day, 2 days of home office, sometimes 3 days. Why is that? Because if you work in the finance department and your colleagues are also in different countries, it doesn't make sense that you come to the office sometimes. If you work in the manufacturing area, you can't build a plane in home office. So that's a mix. So we keep it flexible, yeah. But that's what people really appreciate, being able to work from home from time to time, coming to the office. I remember I had an employee from Vancouver. I think I hired him during COVID times, and he came in, and the poor guy, he was in Munich, isolated. You were not allowed to go out except to the company. And then I announced the 1 week company closure over Christmas. And it was Hans, can I come to the company? I want to stay. I don't want to stay at home in my flat. Yeah? I'm sorry, I can't allow this. So we found a solution. But this is really, it's also a kind of family question. Yeah, about co-determination. Who has heard about co-determination? Works council. What does it mean? Is it? So we are not co-determinated. We don't have a works council. Okay. Yeah. But in Germany, it's possible once you have a company of 3 or 5 employees, the employees can decide to elect a works council. What does a works council? It's the representation of the employee. The good thing is, so it's illegal. It's by good reason. When we founded in Germany, this was part of our legal construct. It is, and they have some information rights and some decision rights. For instance, if you want to lay off employee, then you need to hear the employees need to be informed before the management takes the decision. All individual contracts, hiring somebody or firing somebody, the works council has to be involved. So there's an information right. So usually the works council has 1 week time to approve, to hire somebody or to fire somebody, and if you don't have legal reason, you can't do anything. So it's always good to have a cooperation with the works council. I've worked in companies with works council, without works council. So why don't we have a works council? It's not that I'm inhibiting this. I think we have 70% international employees. So far, there was no interest behind the works council. But this is not Germany alone. Also, I've worked in other companies with France, for instance. We have very strong unions there. So in France, I had one time I had to lay off 300 employees. So and the unions demanded that I can't lay off anybody in the world until this 300 employees I have offered all the roles in the world to this 300 people in France. So guys, you don't really think that French people will go to Japan working? No, but we want you to block this. Yeah, so I found my ways to do this, but this can be tricky. Okay. Thank you. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like for the career and development, if you were hiring an employee, are you like particular with those who have experience, or as a student, those who are fresh graduate, are you also hiring those people?
Excellent question, because it's one of the big questions we currently have in the company. So far, we more or less hire experienced ones. Except our 4 co-founders, they were not experienced. So usually I go, typically it's a 2 to 3 year experience. My colleagues from Toronto, who he has retired with Pratt & Whitney, and then he started in Germany. So he had more than 35 years experience, but usually we hire experienced people. What we are currently thinking about in terms of career attraction, to have partnership with universities, that students can also do the thesis, master thesis in our company and start with less experience. Career attraction is important, and the labor market in Europe is shrinking. So we all compete for less resources. So come to Germany.
Well, if there aren't any more questions, I'm sure Hans will be here for a few minutes afterwards too, if you have any, want to talk one-on-one, but I want to say thank you very, very much for sharing your time and your holiday, your vacation with us to share this really, really fascinating information. It's as Hilda mentioned, I mean, this is there used to be a show called The Jetsons. I'm in a different era. I don't even remember it. And it reminds me of, you know, you take your flying machine, you know, out of your garage and off you go. And people will be flying around now rather than taking cars. It's a reality now. So it's really, really interesting, fascinating, and looking at the broader implications. So thank you so much. And thank you for also being here to share the spirit of Rotary. Because this is what Rotary is really, the essence of Rotary, what it's about is this international sharing, cooperation, and friendship. And we hope one day that we will be making a trip to Munich.
Sure.
To visit the club.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
I have something very, really small here for you, and let me just get it out. With the high tech, I thought it would be appropriate to have something low tech. And it's a key ring.
No.
Just to remember, one for you, one for Marriott, and they're from Canada, so you can flash our maple leaf around. And just to remind us that we are connected to the past still.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And a very small pen, again, one for you, one for Marion, just to remind
Thanks
us of
very much.
your trip here. Thank you so very, very much, and we look forward to seeing you and have a wonderful vacation here in Canada.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, I will enjoy it. And whenever you're in Munich, come visit us.
Great,
Yeah,
that's good.
and don't come to the Oktoberfest in Munich in October. It's the first Sunday in October. It's strictly called September.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So just in closing, I'm just gonna check, are there any announcements? Gita, did you have an announcement?
Well, about the scholarships this Saturday. We are all club in the lower mainland got together and we did, for the first time, $40,000 for the scholarship for the students at this school. Yes, so I'll be giving away the buses, some other materials to these very
Fantastic.
How long did it take you to get that together?